Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. In this video, inshallah, I'm going to give you some top tips in order to manage and improve your salah as a Muslim woman or Muslim mum. Let's get started. The first one is to prioritize salah in your daily life. Now, how can you do this when things get overwhelming? You have the children to cater for, you have housework to do, and you might even have other things going on as well. One of the things we can do first and foremost is actually think about what salah is. What is the purpose of it? There's lots of different beneficial aspects to salah. The very first and foremost is it is one of the pillars of Islam. So we know that it's something mandatory that we have to do. But much more than that, it's a way of directly communicating with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Think about when you are in prostration, when you are on the ground and you're worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You're directly communicating with Allah. You can ask for things that you need to ask for in your daily life, as well as reminding yourself of your purpose in this life is to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is a time where you can take out time from your busy schedule throughout the day in order to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to collect yourself, to become calm, to become quite focused, and to just help you reset your mind and refocus your mind as well. By offering salah at specific times throughout the day, it creates a sense of discipline. It means that you become more disciplined as a person. So it's helping your personality development and it's helping your character development, because you don't just do it when you feel like it, do you? You do it at a specific time for the specific prayers throughout the day. So this is something, again, that's beneficial to you. Another one is when you go to offer salah in congregation. So you might do this, you know, if you obviously as a woman won't be doing it every day, every time, you might be doing it at the time of Jummah on Friday. It's a sense of congregation that you see when you go to the masjid, or maybe when you do it in Ramadan to offer the Taraweeh prayers. You might do it then where you offer the prayer in congregation. You see all the other like-minded sisters. You visit the community. It helps you grow your bond with other people who are like-minded and helps you socialize with them and helps you mix with people who have the same values and the same beliefs as you, inshallah. Another one is salah is considered a form of purifying the soul, and it serves as a way to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for forgiveness from whatever it is that you want to ask forgiveness for, and to cleanse yourself, if you like, in a spiritual sense. It's also a time to increase the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because you are reading certain Quranic verses and ayahs and supplications throughout your salah. You are increasing your remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So by thinking about all these things before you offer your salah, you can remind yourself of the importance of it, which should then help you prioritize it. Another tip is to involve your children. And I know it's hard when you have little children, especially when they're at that stage where they haven't got sense and they might be babies and toddlers. Pray where they can see you praying. Involve them. You can have a little prayer mat for them to sit on. Even though if they might not know the actions, you'll see that children will soon start copying you. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows your struggle as a mom and knows you have little children with you. So sometimes you might not be able to spend as much time as you would like doing the prayers, but it doesn't mean if you have children you can neglect the prayers, but rather try and involve them as much as you can. And when they're of the age where they do have understanding, tell them what it is that you're doing and why you're doing it in a way that's appropriate for them to understand, using language that's age appropriate and suitable for their age and understanding as well, inshallah. You can even try and schedule the prayers around the children within obviously the time of the prayer. But you know, if your children go to sleep a certain time and that gives you a little bit more time to focus, then try and do that. I know it's not always possible, but sometimes it is. If you drop your children off to nursery, or if it's time for them to have a nap, or somebody else can watch them while you're doing this. But if it isn't, then just keep them with you. Always be making dua. As a Muslim, dua is one of the most powerful tools that we have. If it gets hard for you, first and foremost, ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help. Pray for guidance, pray for success, and pray for easiness, inshallah. These are things that you can do no matter what else you're doing. So, you know, you can say duas from your heart at any time, whether you are doing household chores or you're doing anything else at the same time. When things get tough, first ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for support and guidance. Seek help from family, especially if you have older children who can also be sharing in the chores in the house, or your husband can help you, or other family members can help you. Don't be afraid to ask for help, especially if that means that you will then be able to have some time alone to go and do your salah. If you're a person that's working, ask your manager or boss, if you can take time out to do the salah at time where other people might be taking break time, or if you can incorporate it into your break time, into your lunch time, which you're usually allowed to have when you're working. See if you, from beforehand, if you can get yourself a space in which you can offer the salah. Usually people are quite flexible in allowing you to do this because you have a lunch break anyway. So inshallah, try and do that if you can. If you can get other people to help you, that's even better. Obviously be consistent, and this one's probably easier to do if you think about the fact that we do the prayers at the same time every day. But if you're living somewhere like we are in the UK, where actually the prayer times vary and change quite dramatically, it's nicer now in the winter because they're quite close together. So, you can wake up a little bit later to do them, and you can go to sleep a bit earlier after you've done them as well. So depending on where you are, if you have a consistent routine going, this is something else that'll help you improve anyway your personality development by having a nice consistent routine. But it will also mean that you're doing the same thing every day. So for example, if you wake up and think about your Fajr Salah, if it's appropriate for you as a starting point for your day, so once you've done your Salah, then you know that you're going to either sit down and do adhkar, do some reflection, journaling, or just start getting ready for work, or whatever it is that you do, getting ready to, look after your children, then you can look forward to this from the day before. So you can make a mental plan the night before that this is what I'm going to do at this time, set your alarm, and then when you've done your prayer, do whatever you're doing next, and do this with all the prayers. So what is it that you're doing at the time of the next prayer? So for example, for the next prayer, the Zuhr Salah, is it before or after your lunchtime? So by doing this, you can add some consistency to help you do your prayers, inshallah. Finally, find yourself a community of like-minded sisters. I know in some places this isn't possible to do physically because maybe you live in a place where there aren't that many Muslim sisters to help and support you with your prayers and with your journey, or in general. You can definitely find communities online. There are lots of spaces and places online now where there are communities of like-minded sisters. And the reason why this is important is because you can support each other. You can share any problems you're having. People often will have solutions, especially if they've also experienced those problems. And, it can just help you boost and lift your morale when things maybe are going tough or hard, and when you're finding it difficult to offer your salah, but also with other aspects of your life. So it's always really good to have a community. It might be, if there's not a community around you, that you can start one yourself. It only has to be a few people to start off with. And you can maybe meet up regularly, maybe once a week, and keep it informal. And then it can maybe turn into something, inshallah. So I know a lot of places where this has happened. So if you have a community to support you, that's also something that could help you, inshallah. I hope you found these tips useful. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.